he never had much growing up. His world was made of faded walls, hand-me-down clothes, and a mother who worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. His father had left years ago, and though he couldn't remember his voice, he remembered the silence that stayed behind. But in all that absence, one thing was present: his mother's quiet strength. She taught him never to let the world make him cruel. "If you can't afford to give anything, give kindness," she'd say, every morning before walking out the door at dawn. At school, he was the quiet one. He didn't have flashy shoes or the latest backpack. He sat in the corner, kept his head down, and listened more than he spoke. Kids teased him. Some called him names, others simply ignored him. But he never lashed out. Not once. Because every time he wanted to fight back, he heard his mother's voice in his head, reminding him that the world doesn't need more anger, it needs more kindness. One winter, he noticed a girl in his class crying in the hallway. Everyone else walked by. He stopped. Sat beside her on the cold floor. He didn't ask questions. Just gave her a piece of his sandwich and said, "Whatever it is, it'll pass." She didn't say anything. Just nodded through tears. That small moment changed nothing for the world, but it changed something inside her. Years went by. He worked hard, barely scraping by. He worked as a dishwasher, then a delivery boy, then as a gas station clerk. Each job paid little, but he never complained. Whenever someone needed help, a woman short on change, a lost child at the park, a tired old man carrying bags, he was there. No camera, no recognition. Just quiet acts of goodness that no one wrote about. One rainy night, while walking home after a long shift, he saw a man sitting under a bridge. Soaked. Shivering. Hungry. He didn't hesitate. He took off his own jacket, handed over the sandwich he hadn't eaten, and left silently. He didn't even give his name. What he didn't know was that someone saw him. A stranger in a car nearby. A stranger who had just lost faith in humanity. And that small act, one person giving without wanting anything back, restored something in that stranger's heart. The next day, that stranger made a decision. He launched a community project that grew into something big. And years later, that same stranger remembered the boy under the bridge who gave everything he had without expecting anything in return. Now a grown man, still quietly living paycheck to paycheck, he got a letter one day. No return address. Inside was a simple note. "Your kindness changed me. Let me return the favor." Along with the note was an offer, one he couldn't have imagined in his wildest dreams. A job. A home. A chance. At first, he was skeptical. The world hadn't been soft with him, and he'd learned not to expect much. But something told him this was real. And it was. That letter turned into a job managing a shelter. That job turned into a mission helping others who had once stood where he stood, hungry, cold, invisible. He became a force for good, not by shouting, not by demanding, but simply by showing up, again and again, with a heart full of kindness and hands ready to help. People began to ask him, "Why are you so kind?" And he'd always smile and say, "Because someone was kind to me once. And before that, my mother taught me that even if you have nothing, you still have kindness to give." One night, he stood on a stage, accepting an award for his humanitarian work. He looked at the crowd, humbled, and said only one thing. Kindness never dies. It travels. From hand to hand, from heart to heart. If you ever wonder whether it's worth it, know this: it always comes back. Maybe not in the way you expect. But it does. And sometimes, when it returns, it carries the power to change not just your life, but the world around you. The applause filled the room, but in his heart, he thought only of his mother, her tired smile, her early morning words, and the little boy he used to be, sitting quietly in the back of a classroom, hoping for a better world. A world he now had a hand in shaping, and that is the truth of kindness. It's not loud. It's not always seen. But it echoes. It plants seeds. It builds bridges where walls once stood. And when it returns, it doesn't just knock, it enters like light through darkness, reminding us that even the smallest good is never, ever wasted.